bring you updates of the Russian invasion of Ukraine now. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has welcomed Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal to the Pentagon. The visit is coming as U.S. national security agencies are already investigating the release of dozens of classified documents that first appeared on social media sites in March and supposedly reveals details of military capabilities of some U.S. adversaries and allies, including Ukraine. In brief remarks ahead of their meeting, Austin assured the Ukrainian leader that the U.S. would lend military support to Ukraine's ongoing counteroffensive against Russia for as long as it takes.
Now, I'll continue to convene the Ukraine Defense Contact Group to coordinate support for Ukraine's urgent and long-term needs. And we'll continue to swiftly deliver security assistance through procurements and from our own stocks as well. We also remain committed to sustainment and to ensuring that your forces receive adequate spare parts and training for maintenance. At the same time, we will keep investing in our own defense industrial base to further ramp up production. So I'm confident that we will meet Ukraine's defense needs through this spring and beyond. And as the President has repeatedly made clear, we will stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Russia must be defeated in Ukraine, and our territorial integrity must be restored. That is the only guarantee for a lasting peace, and this will be the best guarantee for security of whole Europe and the whole world. And I once again thank the United States of America and the American people for their solidarity with Ukraine. Together we will win. Thank you so much.
The Kremlin has said a move to bring in electronic draft papers for the first time in Russia's history was needed to sort out what it calls a mess at military recruitment offices. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that the problems in drafting men into the army had come to light last year when Moscow launched what it calls its special military operation in Ukraine. Russia says it mobilized just over 300,000 men last year to help bolster its forces in Ukraine, where, according to Western officials, it has suffered tens of thousands of casualties in the biggest military conflict in Europe since World War II. The State Duma, the lower house of the Russian parliament, gave its backing to a package of legislative amendments that will bring in electronic draft papers and close numerous loopholes exploited by draft dodgers. Mr. Peskov said that the changes to how men are drafted, which will apply to both conscripts, are called up twice a year, as well as to separate mobilization campaigns that are badly needed. Residents of Podole, which is a village in Kharkiv region 10 kilometers from the front line, were hesitant to evacuate with volunteers despite intensified shelling. Natalia Dubkina and Sehi Dubkin made a written refusal to evacuate with their 11-year-old daughter, Tatiana. Some say they're receiving humanitarian aid and will evacuate themselves when the situation gets harsh. For Yulia Koklova, a mother of 5, the motivation to evacuate was the safety of her children. According to a volunteer, many people refuse to evacuate, fearing that their belongings will be stolen. The United States and the United Kingdom have announced new sanctions aimed at Russian oligarch Alisher Usmanov and Roman Abramovich. The penalties also target the financial networks of the 2 of Moscow's wealthiest businessmen who are close allies to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Usmanov has been subject to U.S. and European Union sanctions shortly after the Kremlin's invasion of Ukraine just last year. Abramovich, who amassed a fortune in Russia's oil and aluminium industries, was forced to sell the Chelsea Football Club after he was cited last year. U.S. officials say the new designations aim to reinforce existing penalties and further disrupt Russia's importation of critical technologies used in its war against Ukraine. Meanwhile, Washington has imposed sanctions on a Russian-dominated bank in Budapest and several of its offices in a move to likely further strain relations with Hungary. Officials, among dozens newly added on the U.S. sanction list of entities and individuals, with Washington seeking to curb Russia's access to the international financial system. David Pressman, who's a U.S. ambassador to Budapest, said the Russia-controlled International Investment Bank and 3 of its senior executives, a Hungarian and 2 Russians, all living in Hungary, have been sanctioned. The bank moved its headquarters to Budapest in 2019 under Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who cultivated close ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin before the war in Ukraine. Russia imposed sanctions on 333 Canadian officials and public figures, including prominent Olympians, in what is said was a response to Canadian restrictions on Moscow. Published by Russia's foreign ministry, the list includes Canada's Governor General Mary Simon, more than 250 members of regional legislative assemblies, and dozens of Canadian athletes who have all publicly supported a ban on Russia's athletes competing in the 2024 Olympics. The Canadian Olympians targeted by Russia include ice dancer Tessa Virtue, a 5-time Olympian medalist and hockey player Haley, and a 6-time Olympian. Russia has routinely placed sanctions on Western officials and high-profile individuals since the West targeted hundreds of Russian individuals over the invasion of Ukraine.